and roll beneath the deep blue sky. Never had a care in the world. Mommy and Daddy standing by. And happily ever after, felt it never wasn't by those fairy tales. The lawyers dwell on small details, kind of hard to fly. But I know a place where we can. So as we work our way south, the winds are beginning to build as we get into an acceleration zone off the north and northwest coast of Spain. I believe this is caused by the high pressure off to our west and relative low pressure which is formed over the land of Spain, which is compressing the isobars. At any rate, we can expect the winds to get up into the 20s, possibly close to gale force, as we approach the northwest corner of Spain. Well, buenos dias, España. So right off the port, that's Finisterre. There's even a sailboat. And we had a pretty hellish night last night. Those winds were strong, up lower 30s. I'm still reefed down here, but the winds have dropped off. They dropped off early this morning, around 5 a.m. So down to about 15 to 20 or so. So a little more manageable. And so we'll have breakfast and coffee, and then I don't know if we're going to be able to make it all the way to Bayona during daylight, so I'm thinking of putting into Muros, which is about 25 miles. That should be doable. Looks like a fairly easy entrance, so we'll see. Well, it's out of the fire and into the frying pan. First we were dealing with too much wind, or the threat of too much wind. And now we have the opposite problem. As we come around Finisterre, the winds are dropping off almost to nothing. Ahoy everybody! It is Thursday, the 10th of September, and we are about 10 miles off the coast of Galicia, northwest Spain. And we had a pretty windy passage up until we got south of Finisterre. And then the winds have just evaporated. And that happened yesterday, and we've had pretty much no wind now for about 24 hours. You know, occasionally little cat's paws will come in, but for the most part we're just drifting. Luckily it appears that there's very little current here, and if we're drifting at all, it seems to be out kind of more to the west off the coast, which is good. So we're not drifting in any dangers, at least so far. So that's good, and managed to get some sleep last night, so that's even better. So as long as we stay out of danger, then it's merely the annoyance of not being able to get anywhere. We're trying to make it to Baiona. Bayona is about 30 miles from here, but without any wind we can't get there. So we just take it day by day here and see what happens. The forecast is pretty much unchanged until Monday. Then it looks like we are going to get southerlies along the coast. So we could be out here till Monday. So we'll see. Hopefully we'll get some wind. But we'll see what happens.
Oh, it's just Long Island Sound out here. East Coast sailors will know the expression. But essentially just light and variable winds. Kind of sailing from cat's paw to cat's paw. When you get a little wind, you sail. When you don't, you drift. And you just try to keep the boat moving as best you can. Well, finally, Saturday morning, 12th of September, we pick up some breeze along with the rising sun and make our way toward Baiona, which is right on the south of the mouth of the river Vigo of Spain. Naturally, as we close the land, the wind becomes lighter and more fickle. And so again, more Long Island Sound sailing here. Well, it certainly is some impressive scenery coming into Bayona. Just wish I had a little more wind to work with. But we do pick up a little bit of breeze for just the last little bit into the anchorage here. Pick my spot, helm a lee, turn her up into the wind and drop.
Porto Deportivo Baiona, Porto Deportivo Baiona. This is sail vessel Ruth Avery calling on channel 09, over.
So my next task was figuring out how to clear in with the officials, and this turned into a comedy of errors. But I went ashore and spoke with the people at the marina, and finally learned that all I needed to do was fill out a coronavirus traveler's form, and I was good to go. Well, in those light winds, I seem to be detecting some friction in the trim tab there. The steering vane was having some trouble steering, so decided to take a swim and clean and put some grease on the trim tab shaft. This water is not as warm as I hoped. It's pretty chilly. Not as cold as Ireland. I did this job in Ireland, in the Bannon River in Kinsale, and not only could you not see anything, but that water was quite cold. Almost unbearable without a wetsuit. But this is chilly, but not too bad. So this time I was able to do a little better job of it. All right, so here we are. It's Monday, the 21st of September. We're right here in Vigo, Spain, on the Vigo River. We're in Baiona, actually. And we're headed to the Canary Islands down here off the northwest coast of Africa. So let's take a look. Right now we have very little wind, which is true. It's pretty much calm here. And then tomorrow, as we see, we got a high, a low, and looks like another front up there. But if we left tomorrow, we'd be taking off in southerly winds, so that's not so good. Wednesday, up where we are, basically no wind, and as you can see, we got a couple of low pressures here. And then Thursday, there's a low, like an area of low pressure right there. And then what I'm looking at here, see, is this area of high pressure that's slowly moving east. So as we get into Friday, we can see we got northwest winds coming out of this high, pretty brisk off Vigo. But let's say we leave Saturday morning, early Saturday morning. So we got this big high pressure anchored in place, and we should have northerly winds starting off. And still fairly brisk, 17 knots or so. You stay close to the coast, it'll be less. And then as we get into Sunday, work our way south, we see those winds easing up. But again, you know, the weather here is dominated by big high pressure, which is good. That means stable winds, and quite a bit of winds down by the Canaries. So that's strong wind, but this is a run of about almost 800 miles. So it's going to take us at least about 6 days to get there. And as we get down, say by Lisbon or so on Monday, again, nice northerly winds, moderate. Tuesday, still kind of moderate, 16 knots, but on the stern, so that's nice. And we get to Wednesday, and again, if we stay on the run line to the Canaries, we got east-northeast winds, pretty strong by the Madeira Islands, but if we stay pretty much on the run line to the Canaries, again, just moderate northerly winds. And see, this high pressure now is drifting back to the west, but it looks like starting the end of next week, Friday, the weather is going to be completely dominated by a high pressure. Because lately we've had all these low pressures, as we have now. We've had all these lows forming here and there. And generally I'd like to avoid that, because that means unstable weather. So tentatively we'll leave on either Friday or Saturday, the 25th or 26th, as it looks now. We'll see how that develops.